you like, and where can the team get better?
I mean, I like the way we played on both sides of the ball for long stretches of the game. Um, I mean, we just need to bottle it up and continue to play that way. And you know, our luck is we get a top 10 team in the country on our court in the late game, and we gotta be ready to go.
Speaking of that, Duke had an unbelievable week last week, some big-time wins. What did you see from them really in this past week that allowed them to get those major wins?
I mean, they play for 40 minutes. They're very calculating in who they want the shots to come from. They got great go-to players. They got great role players. They got depth. They got talent. They got confidence, and they've played a pretty good schedule to be tested.
You guys have been on the road quite a bit,
Yeah.
back and forth. How do you keep your team focused when you're moving as much as you guys are?
It's basketball. It's nothing better to be doing during this time. There's nothing like there shouldn't be anything competing for their time but books. That's it. So it's pretty easy when it's that clear cut. There's books and basketball because our schedule lends itself to only to be able to concentrate on that.
Speaking of that, a brutal 2 weeks of travel, how have they dealt with the fatigue of just mentally and physically of going to both coasts?
I mean, I think they're all right. I do. They probably had time to go out on Saturday night because we didn't have practice on Sunday. So I do think they feel all right. I think they know the severity of what we have, this week, starting tomorrow, and we're going to be challenged. And I like it. I like the fact that there's no let up. We can't have any let ups. I like the fact that it's a focused opponent where we got to out execute them. We got to be better than them tomorrow night between 9 and 11.
What's going to be the biggest challenge for you tomorrow night?
I mean, their ability to play. They could put some points on the scoreboard, so we got to defend. And then for us, we got to score. I mean, I think for us we have to be disciplined. I think they like to get up and down the floor. They shoot a lot of threes. We have to be disciplined in taking good shots, because when we take good shots, it affords us to rebound the basketball, and it affords us to get back in transition D to make sure that we're guarding their shooters and their rim runners.
On 9 o'clock is kind of a late tip, kind of a weird tip. Any adjustments that you're making going into this one?
Not for me. For them, it's just a later start. I'm sure they'll take a nap at some point, probably during our normal practice time. But I mean, it's time to rock and roll. No matter what time the game, you can play at midnight. We got to be ready to go. So the schedule says 9 p.m. We got to be ready at 9 p.m.
Speaking of that, it just seemed like last week your team had a lot of urgency on the defensive end. What did you see from your team's defense last week?
I mean, urgency. The want to play better, the want to be more disciplined, the want to not feel what we felt. Against UCLA, to want to just be better, to display better basketball on both sides of the basketball end, and to want to play for each other and not let each other down.